Welcome to this webinar about the new features in the KWD Web Ranking report. There are quite a few that I would like to show you, which I hope you will like. This presentation will be available on our website afterwards. My name is Vanessa and I work as a Senior Client Manager at KW Digital in London. I joined KWD 6 months ago and I have 10 years experience working in the corporate communications industry. So a little bit about KW Digital. We are a digital corporate communication specialist. We have 50 employees at our offices in London and Stockholm. We also have partner offices in Milan and Lisbon. We're part of King Worldwide and we have sister agencies of Halverson and Halverson, Taylor Rafferty and Capital Precision. So what do we do? We design, build and host corporate websites. We can build digital corporate reporting. We can work with clients for their corporate social media strategy. And we also work with clients for research such as the KWD Web Ranking and also bespoke research consultancy. And how we do that is through research, strategy and implementation. So what is KWD Web Ranking? Web ranking provides the largest and most respected ranking of corporate websites. The ranking is weighted and based on the expectations of independent target groups such as analysts, fund managers, business journalists and job seekers. So it is not based on our personal opinion. We have access to over 17 years worth of analysis, data and research on global corporate websites and their key audiences. And we can tailor our results to be sector and peer specific. So in terms of the process, for KWD Web Ranking, the first step is to get feedback and input from our companies through the Web Manager survey. The next step is to have interviews with experts in different fields such as investor relations, corporate social responsibility, etc. Thirdly, the surveys are sent out to capital market and job seekers. Once we receive all the information back, we create our criteria for the web ranking. After that, and this is normally in the summertime, we begin ranking all of the corporate websites. And then finally, in the autumn, winter time, we publish the results, reports and awards for the top 3 performing companies within each country. So the highlights for the KWD Web Ranking is for you to get a detailed analysis of your results. You can use the tools for prioritizing updates to your website. You can find inspiration for improvements among top performing ranked companies. You can compare your results to peers and competitors. You can analyze your performance throughout the year per sector and criteria, and you can see the full survey results behind the criteria. Just for you to also know, in January, we are holding a web ranking forum in Stockholm, in our Stockholm office. And this is about the corporate communication workshops. The presentations will be from several guest speakers on leading discussions. KWD Web Ranking of the 2013-14 awards ceremony. And it's a good networking opportunity for you to meet other digital communications professionals. There will be topics of the day such as client cases, guest speakers from LinkedIn and more to be confirmed, best practice examples, an awards ceremony of the winners, the FT Europe 500, mingle with cocktails, and we will provide you with more details as time goes on. I'm now going to move to an online demonstration.
I will go through the new features of the KWD Web Ranking tool to hopefully give you ideas of how to use it in your content management work. Focus will be put on ways to help you maximize your score based on 3 different areas. 1. Why different from max score? 2. By your stakeholders' evaluation and the importance of criteria. And thirdly, by your peers or competitors' performance. I will also explain the improvement analysis function, where you can see how your updates will impact your scores. One of the strengths with this year's web ranking report is that you can both dig into details and get a clear overview of your performance and challenges. The start page summarizes your results, giving you the opportunity to see your ranking and the top list of country and sector, your key challenges based on stakeholders' demand and difference from the max score, a score overview where you can compare your performance with your country and sector performance within each section. Under the result page, you also get your 3 main strengths and challenges. This year report has a flatter navigation to reduce the number of pop-ups. It is structured into 3 levels where you can investigate the results on section, criteria, and sub-item level by clicking the section or criteria and scrolling down. You can get here to the criteria level, you click a criterion, and you get down to item level. You can see that the navigation follows down to all levels, so for each level you can choose to see benchmark, history, importance, which is the questionnaire results, and the improvement analysis tool. So if you click benchmark, you see the benchmark for this section and this criteria you're at. If you click history, you get the historical overview of your performance within these criteria. You're still on the start page section and see the criteria below. You also see the importance, the questionnaire results, and improvements. With this format, all information needed for each section or criterion is gathered by only being 1 click away. For example, level 1 is the section level. When clicking results, you get an overview of your total performance and your performance in each sector. You also get the top 3 challenges and strengths based on your ranking. The spider graph compares your performance in each section to your company or sector average. New for this year is that you can compare your results to your sector and to the top 10 average for your country, sector, and Europe 500. Clicking on a section, one can scroll down to the criteria level. Within the criteria level, you can find an explanation of the section with figures on the stakeholder survey and your performance on each criteria. In the right-hand column of the table, here you can see the gap between your results and max score. You can sort the table by gap to find your largest gaps. The result matrix is an effective tool to prioritize your work, taking into consideration both stakeholders and competitors' peers' demands. If you go through that, we'll go through that in more detail shortly. If you scroll down even further, you will reach the item level. On the item level, you will see quite detailed information about the criteria. There is a description of the criteria here as well, and some measurements within the ranking. The best practice examples are placed here. There are between 1 to 5 examples per criteria with comments on why the example is a good one. Here to the right, you have the stakeholders evaluation of the criteria. You can see how important it is on a scale from 1 to 5, what 5 is very important. Above, you can see your competitors' performance on this criteria. Most of the companies have a full score within this criteria. And 20% of all the companies that is ranked have gotten 0 scores for this criteria. So, foremost, the report is a tool for you to plan content updates and improvements to your website. And as I said before, you can prioritize your work using 3 types of information. The difference within maximum score, you can prioritize by your stakeholders evaluation and the importance of the criteria, or by your peers and competitors' performance. Firstly, I will show you how to prioritize according to the difference within your maximum scores. This means that you can receive a list of criteria where your score differs the most from the greatest criteria score. Therefore, what criteria you should try to meet in order to increase your score. Remember that a high score reflects a high demand among stakeholders groups. To see the gap within this table, and you can sort it by gap. This you can do also on criteria level. And if needed, you can also do it on item level. If you want to get a full list of all criteria, you can click the all criteria here on section level, and you can sort them by gap as well. You can also prioritize your improvements based on stakeholders' demands. You do that under questionnaire results in the top navigation. And you go down to criteria level here. The data is based on capital market and the career survey, on which the criteria and ranking are based on. Here you can sort all criteria based on what stakeholders' demand you are looking for. So for example, you can click percentage of stakeholders voting 4 or 5 of a scale from 1 to 5 and sort the criteria in this way. You can also choose what respondent group to consider when you do your evaluation. If you click on a criteria, you go down to item level and get more detailed information about what stakeholders' demands are for this criteria. New this year is that you get a map that shows variation in the perceived importance depending on what geographical area the respondent covers. So for this example, you see that Eastern Europe is the ones that consider the latest press releases most important. Now you have seen how to prioritize by gap from max score and stakeholders' demand. Now you will see how you can prioritize from your peers' competitors' performance. You can do this by choosing a company or an average in the left-hand list. This section is only included in the benchmark report. For example, you choose Turkey and you want to compare yourself to Turkey top average. So you see the change here. You also want to compare yourself with the sector top 10 average and choose that for the blue one. You can compare your results all the way down to criteria level and down to item level. You go down to result section and go down to the criteria level. You see the result matrix. We have now shown you how you can prioritize by gap from max score, stakeholders' demand, and your peer performance. The result matrix here helps you to prioritize your challenges based both on the performance compared to your peers and competitors, which you see here, and your stakeholders' evaluation, which you see here. The criteria in dark orange are the criteria that your competitors' peers perform better in than you, and that the stakeholders evaluate as important. So these are suggestions to focus on in your improvement work. New for this year is also that you can choose what competitor peer and stakeholder to include in the matrix, therefore enabling you to target a specific group of stakeholders. This opportunity is available for many other tables as well, such as the spider graph. Here you see a list of stakeholders that you can use to compare yourself with, and here you choose what country or peers you want to compare yourself with. Choosing set the top 10, you see the difference here. And each dot within this matrix represents a criteria. We go on to the improvement analysis. This is the actual tool that you can use when planning and sorting your challenges. In the improvement analysis tool, you can play around with your results and see how your planned improvements would impact your ranking. You can also write comments to your colleagues on each criteria and comment them for further improvements. Also, the improvement analysis can be viewed in 3 levels. As for all other pages, you can click the section, you go down to criteria level, and you can go further down on item level. I will start by explaining the item level. Here you can check and uncheck the boxes. You see your original score in the ranking, and here's your new score. You can check the boxes and see here that you would gain 0.8 points. Here to the left, you can write comments on each criteria to your colleagues, and all colleagues that you have invited to report will be able to see and comment each item. As we scroll up to the criteria level, you will recognize the results matrix from the results section, as this works in a similar way. Each dot represents a criterion in the table to the left of the matrix. For example, this one is company story overview, which you find here. They are plotted according to how well you scored compared to the competition and how important it is to the stakeholders, just as in the results section. However, these dots reflect the new score. To the left, you can see the improvements, and you can see how your improvements on item level would impact your position within the chosen section. While up on section level, to the left you can see how your improvements on item level impact your total score and your ranking. The spider diagram shows both your official score and your improved score. You can choose to compare your improved score by sector and country average. New this year is the favorite function. By adding criteria to a favorites list, you can make a checklist that you can use in different ways. Your favorites could either be the criteria that you would like to investigate further when it comes to your performance or your performance against other peers. You can also create a list of favorites that you can work with under improvement analysis. On item level, you see this one, which you can click. You can check or uncheck this one to add the criteria within your list of favorites. You reach this button in the important section within the benchmark and within the results. the list of favorites, where you gather all your favorites, you find on the section level here. Clicking that one will give you a list of all the favorites. At the moment, there are no favorites added. This list of favorites you can reach on the result level here, in the benchmark level, and also in improvement analysis. I would also like to show you some extra features that would be useful for you. That is, the best practice examples and the guided tour. The best practice examples you find under results. You go down to item level. Here you find the best practice. We offer over 300 best practice website examples that you can get inspired from. It helps you to get an idea of how to make content accessible on your corporate website. You will find them here under results and item level. And new this year is there is a comment for every best practice. You see here, there's 1 to 5 best practice examples for each criterion. You can see a large picture here of it, and you can go directly to the website that was ranked regarding this criterion. The guided tour. Instead of opening and closing additional boxes, you can reach the guided tour by clicking on the information symbol here for each area in the report, and you get instead of opening and closing additional boxes, you can reach the guided tour by clicking on the information symbol in each area in the report, or by starting the general guided tour for the whole page. Starting the general guided tour, you can always pause the guided tour when you want to try the new feature that was just explained to you. And to continue the guide, you just click the black link here and you move further on. If you want an explanation of just one section, one area, you click the information tool and they will guide you through this section. That was all the news within this year's KWD Web Ranking report. If you have any questions, please contact us. We can make further demo versions for you. And thank you.